Good evening. Time for another hour of power. Let's have some fun, ladies and gentlemen. So, nothing exciting in life today, but another day of victory in the arena. Let's crush it. So here we are, Celestia enchantments versus Mono Red. Uh, Nothing too special about the Celestia enchantments deck. It's been around many incarnations, using stuff like Banished by Light, Sheltered by Ghost, Ossification, to have kind of a semi-control package, with Calyx being the main creature, as well as a way to bring more enchantments online as needed. There's Authority of the Councils. That is really a powerhouse when it comes to it, if you think about it. So, in a vacuum, all it does is get you life and tap out creatures for a turn. But on another part of that, it's only one mana. It's doing some heavy lifting for a one mana spell. Uh, Shelters by Ghost, same way. For two mana, you get rid of something and you get lifelink and a plus. Here's another important part of the stack, Elvish Archivist. Archivist allows you to draw some cards off your enchantments. Free card draw is always a plus. I'm actually kind of surprised it's in green, but that's the way things are. And boom goes the dynamite. That's the way we do it, ladies and gentlemen, here in the arena. And here we're going to go again. Uh, I got to pause for a second. I got to say, this effect that I added to the video doesn't look that great. Sorry. I will not add effects again. And here we're going with Celestial Enchantments again. Doubling Season has oddly been good in this deck. So it's an enchantment, so it's going to proc off Calyx. It's going to proc Optimistic Scavenger. It's it's going to do a lot of nice things for us. But I didn't think the token doubling and the counter doubling was going to be as important in this deck. Now, what I did think was going to be important is that Enduring Innocence right there, since even if it dies, it comes back as an enchantment. I thought that would kind of be a more used card than what I actually use it for. And here you've got Calyx. He's going to proc himself, and Opportunistic Scavenger's going to proc. Still nothing I can do to get ahead of the pace, as it were. He's playing green blue, Simic, one of my favorite color combinations, although as of late it's kind of rare that I play it. Broken Wings, not that's a weird card. It has a home in a lot of decks, but not to me. Going with the old Archivist, perhaps putting Scavenger into the mix was not the greatest idea at this point, but we'll see how it turns out. Wizards has done a phenomenal job as of late with card design, but to be honest, lore is still sucking. I know I say that probably every video, but lore is what keeps you. When you're down and out, having a good story to fall back on and lose yourself in Imagination Land is nice, and they failed at that lately. Uh, One card I'm surprised hasn't hit the table yet, and I don't believe does in this match, is Draycatcher. That guy is another powerhouse for two. He seems really innocuous and like something you shouldn't be playing with, but he does some heavy lifting on his own. There's our Shelter by Ghost. We're going to get the card from it. We got our Overlord of the Mistmars. I don't know how I feel about the Overlord series. I mean, their big claim to fame is their impending cost, but the fact that you got to wait them out, it's a. If you've got to wait to a certain turn to get something out, it better be game changing. And that's what the mana system has kind of done for us, is that you're not getting it out so you have this much mana. And there's ramp and there's cheat ways and stuff around it, but the impending, I don't know, may let you play two game changers on turn six or something, because he'll pop his counter and then you'll still have the mana up to do something else. Just not my favorite style of play, to be honest. This is interesting in this match right now. I've got him clocked. He's got five mana on board, and he's doing absolutely nothing. We're going to wait on what he chooses. He's highlighting our cards. Obviously, he's going for some kind of removal. Enduring Innocence may not be the removal you target you want to have. The Aether Spark. That is such a weird card. It's an artifact. It's a planeswalker. I really like the fact that you can't destroy it if it's attached to a creature. That's a nice little proc perk. Its abilities are strange. I still haven't found how to quite abuse them yet. But again, it is what it is. It's a nice card. And boom goes the dynamite once again. Here we are. Okay, this is a crazy deck I made. So a couple sets back, I fell in love with the synthesizer and this poetic ingenuity, and I found that we had a lot of pirates that could kind of wheedle their way in there with artifacts. This was an attempt I made that just didn't quite sit well with it. We've got the siren. I mean, for one drop, what can you say? Gives you a little bit of dig power, but it's nothing too super fruitful. Failable passage on the first turn. That's kind of weird to see. Like usually you don't even play it first turn, but if you did, you would wait till my turn to crack it, so you get the land untapped on your turn. And sometimes that can be a dick move because it's going to untap on your next turn anyway. Like all you're doing is trying to be like, oh, information is power. Both of us have really nothing going on. My spyglass is doing something, but I'm not really far ahead. There's no pressure on the board, and it'd be pretty easy to take the side here. Again, I feel like we're both kind of at a and I'm trying to play out the ingenuity so that when I hit Chimley, I can get my dinos for it. So we're looking at the Duskmourn playmat, and one thing that I found that's really neat is if you click on the red eyes, they disappear and reappear somewhere else. The TV screens turn off and on. I don't know, I just like to bring up the little minute cosmetic touches that are in this game sometimes, because for a while they did ignore them, and they were sorely missed, at least by me. I'm not sure what this deck's trying to do, what his goal is, but both of us are in an situation right now. And he doesn't seem to really have much or anything on the fire here. I believe I go for another poetic ingenuity. I hit the spyglass siren again. Again, it can be defense, it can dig. It's not the worst choice. And now next turn, I am perfectly set to go into the Simulacrum synthesizer and Twitchy Doll. That card was so awaited, so foretold, so wanted during preview season. And I gotta tell you, I've seen it played a few times. It doesn't have the power I thought it would have. Sky Serpent Seeker, again, nice card, just not on the level I thought it would be. But flying with Death Touch plus its exhaustibility, it's not completely terrible by itself. And that was a bad scry. When you have 5 mana in the field and you have a multi scry, you're not trying to see them both be lands, and that helps. That's what I want to see. Uh, Now with Legion Extruder, I can hit Twitchy Stuffy Doll. I can hit Sky Seeker. I can hit something and remove it out of my way. It just depends what the game plan is going to be. Because right now, taking out either of those, while helpful, it's questionable which one is the best takeout. Primeval Bounty, one of my toy cards. I like it. I love to play it. But I don't really have a build around for it yet. He's probably thinking that he's got bored. Not a lot, but he's got bored. Him coming across would not be the worst trade in the world for him. So now I'm going to throw a mountain when I decide to, apparently. And I think from that mountain I should throw Chimney. Like that's what makes the most sense. Yes, I have Legion Extruder. Yes, I could hit up like the Sky Seeker or something. But there's no game plan past that. At least Chimley is going to start laying things on the table for me to figure out something to do. Plus, I proc Ingenuity, I proc the Synthesizer. Uh, and I would have got that off the extruder, so I can't say not a bad plan because it would have gone both the same way. But the Chimley is going to give me an extra play every turn essentially, and that's why we do that. There was no reason to attack that turn. There was nothing that was going to be in my favor. And then I got Roaming Throne. So Roaming Throne was very anticipated during its spoiler season. But I tell you, I find it kind of useless. There are so many other double proc ability cards out there. Delcinea comes to mind. I know there's a few others. Elish, Mother of Machines. That limiting it to one archetype and for 4 mana, I just I rarely play it. I couldn't get Elish in this deck because I'm not playing white. Delcinea may or may not have been an answer, especially because it's also in white. So Throne was kind of my answer, trying to make the Pirates do something. And I believe, especially in this match here, we see that it actually works, but it may not be optimal. Now I'm going to trigger the Synthesizer because Artifact came into play. I don't get Ingenuity because it's once per turn. Now this is set up for me to take over board. Now I'm in a better position. I'm not first in the meta yet for Aether Drift, so I'm not sure exactly what he's trying to do at all. He does have the up top potential, but if he presses it, I definitely get the better end of the trade. Overlord of the Vastwoods, gotta love him. I am really surprised I've not seen him, and maybe it's just I haven't come across it. I've not seen him in more domain decks. His Everywhere token would be great for that. In fact, maybe I'll build one later. We got Joint Exploration, Mischievous Fairies going on. He definitely rules the skies right now. But the question is, if he were to attack, who gets the better trade? And right now I think it's me. And now I'm kind of stuck. I can't play Chimley again uh, because it's a legendary. And if I play Legion Extruder, which is my only choice, what do I hit with it? And I choose the big ground pounder because I thought it did 3 damage, not 2. That was such a misplay on my part. And at this point, I really feel that I should be attacking. And here's why. Yes, he's got the Sky Game. Yes, he's got a Death Toucher. But if I don't do something to start clearing his board up, I can keep going wide as much as I want. There's just going to be a turn where he had all out attacks and I can do nothing. Primeval Bounty triggers for him. He's having a little hard time deciding. It's like he's decided, but he isn't committed yet. But things like this happen. Sylvian Scrying, or World Ooze. That's what that was. That was World Ooze. Now I'm kind of curious myself at this point why he's not pedal to the metal. It's not going to win him the game had he attacked with more, but it definitely would have put more pressure on me. So uh, right now, giving up the Spyglass Siren is probably not the worst choice in the world. I mean, she's doing nothing for me, to be honest. But it's a really hard decision. Um, I think the biggest the biggest chump clump, you just give it to it, and that's pretty much what I do. Bingo, bango. I'm in a very bad position now. I have to go all out next turn just to try to cease out the board a little bit because there's nothing else I'm going to do. This is a weird thought process I had to go through right here. Obviously, I'm going to throw the land, but technically, I could extrude an artifact and get a golem. Thinking maybe I got another Chimley in my hand. The problem is that I wouldn't have enough mana. Here's the solution I come up with is that if I attack with the dinos, I'm going to get treasure tokens. and then I can either take the treasure tokens into golems, or I can take Chimley out and use the treasure tokens to recast Chimley. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go full bore. Number 1 to see his response. Number 2 to get the tokens. Number 3 is because it's the only thing we can do. We're really in that situation. And he's going to decide blocks. Really amazed he gave up Twitchy Dow so easy. But it is, what it is. He's got the Huntwood in the mix, but the Huntwood's going to survive. We're trying to think if there's anything we can do. Maybe we can hit one of these tokens that's going to die and just give us a golem from it for defense. Even though it wouldn't matter because of all the flyers he's got. I mean, the up high game on this one is just unmatched. Every once in a while, they just make decks like that. They make cards that enable that. Because as much as we think of flying as a vanilla ability, it is evasion. It does help. I'm not entirely sure what I was thinking at this point and why it's taking so long. Maybe I was doing some math to see if there was any way I could put more pressure on somehow. But I got it anyway. Okay, here's a Simic deck. I should really mulligan this, but I don't. It's hard to say to mulligan something when you've got so many good cards in your hand. But if you have no path to play, that's typically your best bet. And we're trying to wake him up and get him to go so that we can move out on this one. Go ahead, play the island. He's got a red-green. That's sort of like Tom Green, but not as funny. And we're on the Wilds of Eldraine playmat. And I'm still wondering what my thought process in playing was at this point. Because, as I said, I really have no path to play. And my expectation, usually in a game, if you're not putting out a third turn, you're losing out. You could say Mother Goose could be my third turn play, but I want to build that X up as high as I can. And putting it out to put it out is not optimal. Sometimes you have to, sometimes you need a defender, whatever, but it's just not optimal. Oh, I love that card so much. Roadrunner, protection from coyotes. Meet. I got 3 mana. What am I going to do with it? I'm going to chunk it into a herd migration to gain some life and get some more land. And we are still just sitting here like a target. That is our life right now. Boombox, pretty neat card. I should have played the Hydra. I realized that as I dropped that, and I was like, no, I can't do it. I mean, the Hydra would have been a fair trade to the Roadrunner. But now they're really eating my lunch with that Hunter's Talent. And fair enough, even if I had played it in the correct order, he still would have done the same thing. Gonna throw that, get the Giant. They really did in Foundations try to bring back a lot of the old travel cards. Giant was particularly one of them, but the design you can see was definitely trying to point you to an elf deck or a token deck. But in my opinion, again, everybody's got an opinion. In my opinion, his mana cost is just too high to be effective. And now we've kind of laid a board out. He would be stupid to come across, and he realizes it. Dynamite! Same deck again. We've got Doppelgang, and I love that card so much. I hate to see it played versus me, But honestly, it's just hard to play. It's like a Planeswalker's Ultimate. If you get it, you deserve the huge advantage it gives you because it's just dynamite. Here we are waiting, waiting, waiting. I wish I knew where that robot pet came from. That is a neat looking pet. And so, again, we didn't get a good path in our opening hand. Maybe we should have mauled. I think our best choice is just to keep laying lands and sort of target ourselves towards getting Lurrus out. And here we go. We're getting beat to hell by the Thunder Junction lands. Still no play. Again, Green Sun's Twilight. To me, it's a lost play if you don't exit for 5. Mother Goose the same way. You gotta get exercise you can get to get the benefits from her. So we are just sitting in our hands taking damage. That's all we can do. Lost Jeté, it's Jeté. Of course, it's a nostalgic callback to Uzuma's Jeté. Both cards are definitely not Jeté. They do slightly different things. I definitely prefer Uzuma's Jitty. And now we're waiting on him to make a decision. To me, the only decision he has is to drop a land, play a creature, equip the Jitte. But for some reason, this is a hard decision. Today, Junior, oh, there's the land. You figured that part out. Even if I don't remember the Jitte's equip cost, but even if you can't equip till next turn, you still gotta put the creature out. So, chop chop, Hippo. And he is taking his sweet time. Artisan's Talent, not one I'm familiar with, and I didn't care to learn about it. I have just come here to chew bubble gum and finish this match. And again, we're back in the situation of today, Junior. Sometimes people take so freaking long. But we're trying to be kind and wait. It's just a little aggravating. Artisan Talent leveled up. Am I going to play the Hydra correctly this time? I'll give you 5-1 odds. Any takers? Any takers? All right. And I am taking my sweet time now to think about this, probably because I see I got discarded if I don't play out. Uh, I do not play the Hydra correctly. Again, I'll call out my own misplays all day. It's the only way to get better. That's kind of helpful for me to do these videos to see my misplays. Because as I'm playing, I might see it and just, oh, I gotta remember that next time. But I'm concentrating on other things. Seeing them and having to call them out and explain them can't be hurting. It can only be helping. Maybe the next video I do with the Hydra in a deck, I won't misplay it every time. Next turn I will have 5. That still does me no good. Gets me Doppelganger for X1. I don't want that. Gets me Mother Goose for X3. That's decent. And again, I don't know if this guy has a bad connection. Is he playing on his Kindle or what? Gonna hit that. Gonna hit that for sure. And pass turn. Now we're moving until he takes his turn and sits on his thumbs again. And I have said the Today Junior reference so many times, even if you don't know what it is, you're tired of it now. Nowhere to Run. That's another card that I don't really understand the point of, so I don't play it much. He's going to go ahead and hit the Giant with it, I believe. Yep. Bye-bye, Giant. And now he's taking his turn, sticking his thumb in his eyeballs. Uh, like, you got this is a thinking game, I get it, but have an idea of what you're trying to do, what your goal is. And this hurts. He is definitely getting better board than me, putting pressure on me, but he's still taking too damn long. Go to combat. It's your only choice. This is what gets infuriating. Okay, use the Chitty 2. That's a good choice. There you go. Equip 2. Bam, bam. Come and hit. It's like a prom date. Come and hit. You got this, little buddy. Come on. Uh, Never want to play this guy again. I wonder if this is part of his plan, is just to take the fight out of you. Because there are some players that will do that. Ooh, Mishra's Command. Nice card from Brothers War that, in my experience, rarely sees play. Now, come on, you got everything saying just go attack. There you go. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I am at 6. I can Green Sun for 5. At this point, I'm just playing out my hand, hoping something happens for me. And the computer seems to be like, wait a minute, let me put some churchin in it. It's going to be Booney Paul, of course, because I'm going to get 2 for 1 on that with Babe Docs. Booney Paul. I don't know if it's copyright or what. Why didn't just put Paul Bunyan on there? But I realize it's French. Booney, Bonnie, beautiful Paul. And it's back to the waiting game. Anybody have Parcheesi? So Shieldred, another perennial game ender on the field. There is nothing I can do about it at this point, so the match continues. I don't even think there's anything I can do about it in this deck, other than try to make him block. I I don't know. I would say there should be an option to like report people if they're roping all the time, but then everybody would do it regardless. It's just one of those things. I'm kind of roping out right now because it's my priority, my go, my turn. But I have 7. Do I want to go for a Doppel or do I want to go for the Goose? I go for Bounty. I could have gone Doppel and got a copy of Shieldred. That would have made it even. I went to Bounty instead because of its life gain ability. So I know he's not going to block with Shieldred for a minute. I'm going to have to put pressure on before that even enters his mind. But Booney Paul there, every time I attack, is going to draw me a card and allow me to play land, and Primeval Body is going to bounce me some life for it. So this was not a half bad play. Booney Paul, put out the land, gain the life, let Shieldred try to hit me because I drew a card. Like, I'm gaining 3, losing 2. I'm ahead. Again, not a terrible play. He's going to throw a token at Babe, and I'm going to be like, big deal. Shieldred's going to gain him some life. I am behind the curve in many ways, but the game's not over. Marquesa in a cowboy hat. Why? Nobody knows. He's giving the Jitty to Shieldred. Again, not sure why, but it's whatever. Maybe it's because he knows I won't block Shieldred. I mean, it's good thinking. I'm not going to. Uh, wouldn't have been the worst play in the world, but definitely no reason to. So we draw, we lose life, we throw a land, we gain life. Gonna have to yell at myself soon if I don't catch on to what I'm doing here. There we go. Looks like I got 9. 9 on board for 7 for 2. I could get 2 copies of something. Obviously, I'm not seeing what I should do here, so. And here's where I discover Primeval Bounty's second ability to give me creatures. And this gives me an idea. I am good now. Go ahead and throw out Lurrus. Oh no, not Lurrus. Lurrus is going to throw some cards in the graveyard, which are going to be lands. I'm going to pull them into play with Lurrus' ability. I'm going to gain some life off Primeval Bounty. And things don't look so dark. Two lands, 6 life. Bing da bong bing. Go ahead and come across with Babe. Mr. Booney there is going to give me a card. Unfortunately, it wasn't a land. But again, nothing too tragic. We can definitely pull this out without a problem. Especially since he didn't block, which was kind of amazing that he didn't throw another token at it. Still hitting up that artisan talent. I just don't think there's a reason to at this point. I don't know if he's trying to run his life up or what he's thinking, or maybe he's just drawing his draw. I mean, can't read minds, can you? Here we go. Into the red, and he is choosing to attack with Shieldred, rightfully believing I'm not going to block, or at least not going to kill it. I think the play here I could have made is I could have thrown some beast at it, maybe throw Looty Loot at it, but overall I think the best choice is to go ahead and let him hit. Again, sometimes you gotta let him hit like a prom date. And that's all there is to it. Go ahead. I see it's going to take both beasts to kill it. He has nothing he can do about it. You are tapped out, brother. Tapped out like a drunk at the bar. Uh, you get your jitty. You pulled some sneaky shit and let Shieldred live. But at the end, I just lost some free tokens. That's it. So here comes one of my complaints about my deck building skills. Herd Migration. Yeah, it pulls land. Yeah, it gives me a little bit of life. But I'm never going to take advantage of it with its domain ability because I'm only playing 2 colors. It doesn't belong in this deck. I don't. Every time I build this deck, I'm like, oh, herd migration, create all these tokens, and I don't think about the fact that it really doesn't for this deck. Gonna go ahead and gain the life, gain the land. I guess I was thinking, why not? Although, kind of thinking maybe I should have done the goose at that point. Go ahead and let old Looty Loot do his thing and pull me another creature. And pulls are bad for old Looty Loot there, but that's all right. Especially at this point, because I'm thinking about just flooring into the red. I think at this point, if I was playing this match right now, I should have gone with, there I go, go with both those. Get your draw off Booney. It's not a land, unfortunately, you just take it to the face. You just wait for him to make his block decision. He's going to hay you guys with the token. That's the smartest thing he can do. And now he's screwed. Screwed, chewed, bubblegum. Again, it's all on him. We're waiting on his decisions, his timetable. This game is over. I don't know why he hasn't conceded yet. I guess he thinks hitting Loris is going to change the game. All it does is help me, pal. But, gotta do what you gotta do. Still waiting for him to process all his triggers. He's being exemptionally slow about it. Again, I don't even know if it's in his favor to attack this turn. Ooh, Alicia who smiles at death. Or that's technically, I think that's Alicia who laughs at death. I believe Alicia smiles at death was the first incarnation of that card. From, oddly enough, Khans of Tarkir. Just kind of odd that we're going back to Tarkir soon. I don't know. Tarkir was one of my return sets. I thought it was a neat concept. I believe it was Citadel Siege where you chose Khans or dragons. I love the Outlast abilities, especially when you built an Asban deck where they all shared abilities because of Outlast. But overall, it wasn't a super impactful set to me. It was by no means a bad set. Plenty of cards that you can name off the top of your head and be like, that came from that set, such as Jessica's Will, Dramoka, The Commands, Ugin. I have Ugin, come on. But also, there are plenty of sets that I liked better. Plenty of sets that I can name more cards from. And now we're at the final turn. The final countdown. And I played Titania. This is one of my favorite cards from Ixalan, by the way. Again, I have so many pet cards that don't belong in decks that I try to shoehorn them into. But Titania, I'm playing her because I'm trying to gain life off the lands. What I don't think about or realize at the time that I play it is that she also forces you to draw. So it's two-edged sword as long as he has old Shiadrazis out there. Luckily, I got Primeval Bounty there that's going to plus me up and keep me from hurting so bad. So I'm going to Bounty from the land. Going to draw from land. Sheoldred's going to hit me. I'm going to gain life. Draw from land. Sheoldred's going to hit me. Like, that was the weirdest interaction. Not the weirdest, but it was a pretty layered interaction right there. Bristly Bill, Buffalo Bill, whatever you want to call him. Plan is Bill's going to plus up my counters on the Hydra if I need him to. Right now, if board wipe were to happen, it's between the Goose and the Turtle, really, are my comeback path because I've still got Primeval Bounty to throw some life my way. So, why didn't I all red on that turn? Is a great question. And I think it was, I was looking at Alicia Smiles at Death, I was looking at Sheoldred. I felt like there was a way he could circumvent it. But I have definitely put the lock on. There is really nothing to do but let it happen. His little trinket over there is going, the final countdown. And so, depending on what he does, play next turn is Tortoise. Tortoise goes and shims me, throws a couple more lands out there. Titania, Primeval Bounty, Bristly Bill. Uh, and then from there, goose up as much as I can. Red zone it. If he fucking has some slick way out, then the following turn, doppelgang into it. So let's see how this works out. I don't know why the screen flashed. I don't know what ability just got shut down. I was too busy describing the game plan. The final countdown. So Marquisa comes from a set Conspiracy, which was a variant multiplayer set. where one person played the crown, I believe, and the other three players tried to take down the crown. The crown got some advantages, like drawing extra cards. Uh, and then it had conspiracy cards that were outside the game, sort of like a companion, if I remember right. I don't know. I played it once, and the draft was not my favorite format to play. She takes out the goose from my hand. I guess she's trying to limit my options if there is another turn coming. But unfortunately for you, my friend, there is not. Do 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 do. The final count. God, this guy takes so long to play. Is he writing in a notebook? Is he like, I've seen this card and that card and this card? Is he trying to see what archetype I'm playing? I don't get why he takes so long sometimes. I'm gonna start drinking. If you cannot speed up your turn, it's hard to narrate this with all your kibitzing, but it's alright. We shall endeavor to continue on. I really love that little Nintendo PlayStation type of game console they have on the Dustborn playmat. Okay, he realizes it's over. He's gonna go full red. It's nothing I can't handle unless he has a combat trick, which I'm not seeing him have. So I go ahead and set up the blocks. I honestly don't care about what dies. Him being tapped out is the plus to me. That is all I'm hoping for. That is what's going to make the game better for me. That is what's going to end it on my turn. Like, there is no reason for me not to go red next turn. Uh, even Gerald is not a problem. And he realizes that. Boom goes the dynamite. Alright. Same deck again. Oh, actually, this isn't the same deck. Okay, cool. So I've been trying to futz around with elf decks. That's what this is. It's a Golgari elf deck. And I know looking at the hand, you're like, what acid am I taking? But just you'll see. This isn't straight elves. In fact, I shouldn't even call it elves. But that's what was on my mind when I made this. So we're gonna go in. We should keep this hand. And I hate narrating things afterwards because I always narrate what I think I should have done, and then I wind up doing something different. But maybe not this time. Taking my time making a decision here, kind of worrying myself. The playoff here would be to get the Hydra out first. Get the Hydra out, hit Loot, hit Glissa, hit Titania. The question being is how much more land I can draw to use Loot's ability to pump the Hydra at least one time. Extra. Okay, it's his play. We're waiting on him to go. His little dragon wakes up. Okay, not what I want to draw at that time, but it doesn't matter. Go ahead and play a Flutist. And you go, pal. He's going to take a minute, play his land. We've got green-red possibility on his side. This Star Seeker, I don't understand that. It's not a bad card, it's just not a card I would put in any of my decks. You have to tap something to get mana from it. It's I hate how to say this correctly. It's not optimal. Anyway, now it's my turn, and we are looking at playing a swamp. Why? Because I want to have both colors out so I can get Glissa. Even though Glissa should not be my first turn optimal on this. He's going to take that. Oh, I love this guy. Except now with me having nothing out, it kind of boom smacks his trigger. But that's kind of a good thing for me at least. So, Swampy Swamp, Forest Forest. Either one is a good play. I play Swampy Swamp. I hit the Hydra as I said. And now I'm not in a good position. He has got the board ahead of me as long as he has whatever dinosaur's name is of the first. That guy's a problem for me right now. He's not going to give me the time I need to rebuild. And now we're waiting for him to accept his triggers and figure out what he wants to do. I don't get it. There's not a lot of thought at this point. Again, looking at my hand, what's the thought process? Thought process is we either draw another land and then we play loot next turn so we can play two lands so we can pump the Hydra, or we go with Glissa for defense. I should not block here. That is a horrible idea. The Hydra has so much more potential than just being a body. But we'll see if I make the right choice or not. Draggy Poo's over there complaining. Everybody's waiting. I don't think I realized that. Yeah, there we go. Ooh, so what do you do here? You do that exactly. You put out Glissa for defense. Death Touch has become such a nuanced ability. I mean, I suppose what it does hasn't changed, but how people think of it and use it has changed. It seemed more as a defensive ability, at least when I build around it. I mean, you have Fing the Fangbearer, which just changes the game because it gives you an extra win condition. But in general, when I play it, it's for defense. Uh, Blade of the Elves. Again, maybe this isn't the optimal deck for that. And to be honest, in this deck itself, even though I will play him a couple times, I don't really see profit off his abilities. Looking around what I can do, I think at that point I was thinking trying to spend more mana was better than trying to conserve it. I should go ahead and not attack. Uh, if I do attack, if I attack with the Hydra, he's definitely taking the Hydra out. If I attack with Glissa, he may block and I may get something, or he may not block and I may take some life and destroy some artifacts. Either way, there is nothing I can do that really profits me because he's got a nice board to come back with. It's his turn, he draws, and I'm not sure what he's trying to do. He's got a dinosaur in there. Is that his deck? Dinosaurs? Probably not with the Haywire Might. It's still a big question of what do I do? Now, this may not have been optimal. It may have been more optimal to play Bristly Build there and then hit the artifact that was equipped to that creature, but too late now. Sayonara. And he gives up. Anyway, so boom goes the dynamite. Okay, moving on to the next game. Next round. Oh, I'm really going to have to work on my video editing skills or I'm going to be here telling jokes like, the farting doctor joke. So I've got my own ghoulish type deck. I love Lucre Boundary Ruin. I love Abraska's Forge. They're pet cards, and sometimes they don't fit where I shove them. Just like the Questing Druid there. Good card, doesn't always fit where I put it at. So I played the Forest first, just in case I got another Forest, because Tribute to the World Tree would have been nice. And I was having trouble deciding between Innkeeper's Talent and Questing because playing different colors helps Questing. I keep wanting to play its Adventure Side first, but there's no point if I don't have the mana to utilize it, or there is not something on the board that's going to take advantage of it. So just playing the Druid is sometimes the only play. and that's really hard for me to master. Waiting on him. I don't know if he fell asleep. Maybe he's trying to rock his baby to sleep. Who knows? Just taking too darn long. There he is, letting the timer go down because he doesn't know what he's doing. He gives me a little hello. Weirdest land ever. Now we're going to hit another green. That's fine. That enables us to get the forge or put out the quest and do it like we should have. Let's see what choice I make. The forge. He approves. I don't care. Um, at this point, it's half a dozen, 6-1. Get on the road with your motorcycle because there's just not a whole lot going on and there's not a whole lot of choice in this game. Okay, got in the forest. I can throw that. I can hit the world tree, and I can slow boat this game to China, or I can get Luca or Helix. I would go with Luca. I think that's a decent choice. Throw his beast mode out there, and now that I've gone beast mode, I can feel a little more secure. There is really nothing exciting right now. I have nothing on my end of the board. He has nothing on his end of the board. Like I just have pieces. I'm like a broken chessboard over here. And now he's gonna play out. I love that card design by the way. That those Swift Foot boots, the old design. That's a nice touch. I would love Wizards reprinted that in paper and maybe used it as a prize for something. I don't know, just a little hint. But here we go, teaching him a lesson. Keep your dragons to yourself. 24, 6 to 8. That little stinger back here is bad to the bone, but not when you got a full hand. Right now, my partners would take it out without a problem. But I'm going to let through because why not? Reasons, okay? Okay, we're going to get our world tree. Maybe it's too late for that. We're going to get our Quester Fester. Again, maybe a little too late for that, but searching for the break of day. I don't know why that's the way I went with that. I could have done Quester Fester and gave him haste, but maybe I saw I was going to win anyway. Boom goes the dynamite. All right, we're back with Rule again. Malak Man's Warren Chief, another toy pet card that I keep shoving into decks. And I'm not quite as confident with this keep. Scavenge News, Guff Triplets, I guess are enabled by that path, but it's a hard call. Alright, so let's play a land. Wait for him to take his turn. Those outlaw lands, man, like they've never done anything like that since then, which hasn't been so long ago, yes, but also it was a refreshing change. Usually tap lands have are gonna hurt you if anything. Like the fact that it targets opponents is weird. It's a nice little twist, and I'm just surprised they haven't tried to repeat stuff like that. Like every time you draw mana, an opponent takes damage or something. Ankle Biter, that is such a nice card for mana. Again, Death Touch, at least to me, is mostly defensive. So putting her on a 1-1 to make the play cheap, marvelous. Marvelous, man. Okay, here we are on my turn. I need to throw another force because that's all I can do. Innkeeper's Talent. Uh, Not a real help. I can't attack. I guess I'm just going to build my little Slimy there. Slimy Slimer is going to get some strength to him. But I can't eat his graveyard yet because he doesn't have one. Really hoping to bounce a mountain our next turn to open up some options. And there it is. Sometimes your prayers are answered. The question is, what do I want to do with this mountain? Do I want Luca? Do I want the Warren Chief? I think Luca is the best pull for that. Yes, I'm going to cheap out and do his beast mode again, but Warren Chief, he's going to get chump blocked by the ankle biter. He's going to die anyway. Now, not only have I got this beast to defend myself, but also I'm going to get 2 extra mana next turn off Luca if I need it to do Guff triplets. So that was definitely the play that should have been made. And keeper talent, the question is, do I want to build up the slime? Do I want to build up the beast? Somebody's going to die regardless if I attack. Again, holding back and defending Luca is probably the best play. Probably. Who's to say? 25 or 6 to 4. Counting cards on the floor. Okay. I'm going to throw a forest. I'm going... Don't. There you go. Get the mana from Luca. Guff triplets. Now you have made the game. Now attacking does not hurt as much. You can afford to give up something. But I'm going to wait till I can send all the Guff triplets so that when he does kill something with the ankle biter, I get bonuses off of it. Lush Portico, Great Land. Now I get worried. Railway Brawler can F up my day. But it should be okay. Nothing really, don't want to say worrisome because Brawler is worrisome, but nothing tragic yet. And honestly, I don't think there's much he can do. He's just too far behind the curve. Luca Duca there needs to pop another beast. Then I need to go through the Warren Chief, but perhaps I'll wait to phase 2 to do that. Or I plus up the talent. But realistically, Luca Duca popping a beast, putting down the Warren Chief, attacking solely with the Guff triplets is probably the play that I should do. There's the Warren Chief. There's Luca Duca. I don't know why I drew mana against him. I mean, it did prop him, so maybe that was why. But Bo Luke has done his job. Doubling season, again, another worrisome card. Luckily, he's tapped out. The only choice I have is to attack. I've got to clean this board up a little bit. Like, I've got a lot of stuff, but it's not going to work out for me unless I use it. I guess doubling season was the best choice at this point. But still, like I said, a lot of stuff. That was a misplay. So I don't know. Maybe it wasn't a misplay. Maybe there was nothing else I could really do. It just seems like there should have been a better play at that point. Now it's up to him how he wants to block. I really need him to pretty much sacrifice play the Railroad Brawler, but if he's smart, he won't. And everything else is just however it happens. Doesn't really matter. I should bring him at least to 10. He's taking his time. He knows he can't afford to lose the Brawler. He knows that killing some of the Guffs is only going to help me. And that's game, ladies and gentlemen. He's at 2. I'm at 17. Board's pretty full on both sides. There's no reason for him to continue. Another brawler. And now you're going to see the power of the brawl. 15-15. And it has trample. There's not much I'm going to do. Any other creature he plays is just going to be astronomical. But right now, he's so low I can just swing around him. Like, he's already lost. He wants to kill Luka Duka. Uh, I should let him, and I do. Oh, no, I don't. Why do I let him kill Luka? Because I have no use for him. But apparently I didn't think so at the time. At least I got rid of one of the brawlers. It was the weak one, though, so still SOL. But that's how life bounces. Last Friday night, kind of waiting for him to make up his mind. He has to see that. And that was the dulcet tones of our sponsor. Here we go. She's actually yelling at one of the cats, if anybody's wondering.